and welcome back to the Second and Two podcast. I'm your host, TB, with my co-host, producer extraordinaire, background in business, hat connoisseur, master of the grills, overall good person, and eligible bachelor, Jody.
Bro, it's funny because you're about to get into all those, and then you're just like, and then you got in. I was like, dang, I almost had the quickest intro of all time.
Dude, it was one of those like, wait, recalibrate, remember all the different things that we've accumulated over the year or so we've been doing this.
Yeah. No, it's a good time. We're here. We're back. You know, obviously, I'm here with you. We got a nice list of things coming in today. We got the camp news. Let's see. We got the recap episode 2 of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, dude.
Episode 3 is releasing at the moment. It is a Tuesday.
Literally
we record
right
Tuesdays
now
for the most part. And then we'll finish out with awards on the season that we think people will earn.
Yeah, awards predictions. Awards predictions, my friend. And I'd also like to mention, it's a big week for your boy. Game 1.
Oh, game 1. How was
Morton
the scrimmage?
High School.
Before we get into everything.
Yeah, dude. The scrimmage last week, we played a pretty good team in Sudan. And defensively, I thought we played pretty well.
That's good.
We lost the scrimmage 26-6, played a full scrimmage. However, I thought we played pretty well in terms of, if you look at the drives, one of their touchdowns, they got the ball in the red zone. So we punted from our own end zone, and we punted from our own end zone, and our punter shanked it. So it was a tough one.
Fish out there, huh?
Yeah, it was a tough one. And then their second touchdown was the only one where they really drove the ball down on the field on us. We gave up a vertical ball where the safety in the middle of the field, he didn't get there. So he wasn't deep enough. Threw the ball over his head, and the corner got beat one-on-one and tried to make a play on the ball. And the ball kind of popped out at the end, and they said that it was a catch and he was down before he fumbled. It really looked like it was an incomplete pass, but the referees were like, hey, it's a scrimmage.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anyway.
One of those deals. Their third touchdown was our normal Will. He got hurt because our offense had scored, and we went for 2, and we threw it to him on an out route near the goal line, and he got blasted. So he was hurt. So I put another kid in, and well, bless his heart, he didn't know what he was doing, and they ran right in his gap, and it went for like 60 for a touchdown. So that was tough.
Yeah,
and then
tough when you get that.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a good kid, but man, he didn't know what he was doing. He got yelled at on that one. And then their last touchdown was a pick 6, which actually was not our quarterback's fault. The receiver
bobbled it.
No, the receiver ran a hitch, and the old rule: if you run the hitch and you don't come back to the ball, what happens? They beat you to the ball. If you drift on the hitch route, and he drifted, and the guy jumped it in front of him, pick 6. So in reality, we only gave up 3 touchdowns, and again, only one of them was like a true drive. The other 2 were kind of, tough situations. And but for the most part, I thought the kids played well. We're making progress. That team was supposed to be a lot better than us. Like they beat them.
You ran with them a little bit.
They scrimmaged the same team last year, and that team beat them by like 5 touchdowns or something like that, 6 touchdowns.
Okay.
So it was apparently not a good scene. It was like really bad. Coaches who are on our staff this year that were on the same, were on that staff last year, kind of said like it was a real bad experience when they played them last year. So that makes me feel, that makes me feel like, hey, we're getting, we're getting something going here. Their head coach was, very, he said a lot of nice things after the scrimmage to our head coach. So we're making progress. Yeah, no. He was like, man, you guys have made a lot of improvement from the last time when we saw you guys last year. So I thought it was really good. We're making good strides. We play our first game this Saturday, not Friday. We play on a Saturday. We got to travel. Yeah, we got to travel, and it's in the middle of the day. So it's a tough one. It is a tough one.
Leave it on the neck, bro. It's about
to be Might have to be. It's going to be like 101 at kickoff. So we're
grass at least, hopefully.
Believe it's on turf where we're going. So yeah, and yeah, we'll be wearing shorts as a staff that day, not pants.
There you go.
So, but yeah, super excited for game 1. Morton football coming at you. But go ahead, Joe. You got it, dude.
First thing of camp news I got looking at you. We got Jonathan Taylor. My guy is on the market. They believe they want a first round, but they're open to whatever, I guess. They have high value for the guy, but they don't want to pay him. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, okay, you can't on one side of your mouth say we're not going to pay you, we don't value that much, and on the other side, hey, but if you want to get traded, we got to get a first round pick for you.
Yeah,
that makes come on, like the Colts are being real stubborn right now, and and then we sit there and wonder why running backs are mad. It's like, okay, well, if he's not valuable enough to pay, which you could make the argument that no running back is, and it's a fair argument. But then you cannot turn around and ask for a first-round pick. You can't do that. That's just not how that works. And they know they're not getting a first-round pick. I feel like they're doing the thing where they're asking for an incredibly high price, knowing that they're going to end up getting a third or fourth round. But they don't want to start there because then you end up at a 5th round. So
yeah,
I feel like they know they're not getting a first-round pick for him. And, because no one's going to give up a, first-round pick and pay. It's a lot. Yeah. So I just highly doubt that's coming. I think more than likely, he probably they got to figure it out, and he stays there for the time being, and then he's a free agent in March. I mean, that's just how these things go. It seems like anyway. Yeah. I mean, we saw it with Saquon, a different situation, but kind of, just hey, figure it out and let's go to work.
Yeah.
And we'll stick with running backs. In other news here, we got Bijan Robinson.
Oh, got on the field.
Last week you were calling for him. You were clamoring for him. Joe was like, "Why have we not seen Bijan yet?" And guess what? You got your wish. We got to see him in action, and he looked good, real good,
real shifty out there, bro.
He looked real good. Atlanta does not look like they're going to regret that top 10 pick there, at least in the short term. But yeah, he's still listed as their 3rd running back on the depth chart right now.
Crazy when you told me.
But I don't know if anyone actually believes that. I think that's kind of just we're putting him there, but nah, he's not actually there. So
yeah, for real. But yeah, no. So Texas flag, right? Our guy Mitch, he sent me and Johnny a video of him his first rush, and I was like, oh, he's looking good, bro.
Yeah, he looked good.
He had that jump cut with like a little spin at the end. Ooh.
All the things that we talked about were on display.
Yeah. I was really excited to see. I think he got a catch as well. Nothing too crazy. He had a couple plays for sure though. So yeah, Bijan, man, that guy is looking. Keep our eyes open on Bijan for later. But yeah, next, more running back news. Our guy Josh Jacobs out of the Raiders. He's back. He stopped his holdout. Now he's back with the team. Week 3 about to be week 1, technically. Wanted to get some playing time.
I mean,
clear off some rust real quick.
This seems very similar to like what we just talked about with Jonathan Taylor. I mean, running backs, unfortunately, they're all doing the thing where they're like, pay us, but all of the teams are collectively not paying guys.
Yeah, which is
so
tough,
all these guys are kind of having to be like, well, there's no market, so I guess I got to pay. I got to just kind of suck it up and play. And I'm sure, that's hard to do, but I commend them for doing that as opposed to like,
you got to at least try
pulling the Le'Veon Bell and holding out the whole year. You don't want that.
We all saw what happened with that though. He didn't come back the same.
I mean, he said himself he wishes he never did it. So, running backs learning from that situation, I guess. On the other flip side of the coin here, we got some tough receiver news. Number 1, my guy, Jackson Smith-Njigba, my second favorite receiver in the draft. I still love Addison. In Minnesota, but JSN's going to be really good. Injured his wrist. He had to have wrist surgery. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks, according to the reporting that we're seeing everywhere. And so that means he's going to miss week 1, at least probably week 2.
Mhm.
So maybe we can target a week 3 return for him.
That
But
seems to
you know, for
be
his
a solid
debut
number
anyway.
this year. Week 3.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not something that lingers and he gets healthy. You know, even if he
Yeah.
misses a game or two, he'll be solid. So
Yeah, I wanna see him light it up. That receiving core is also pretty insane. We just need Geno to light it up. That's probably the only thing that's a question mark for that offense for sure, but
yeah,
JSN, I woulda had some eyes on him later on until you gave me that news.
yeah.
But more sad receiver news. We got Terry McLaurin got hurt
Hmm.
in the Ravens Commanders game the other day. Don't really know. We speculating turf toe, but turf toe could be pretty bad sometimes. So just a foot injury. We'll go with that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like based on what NFL reporter, NFL Network, who's my
Woj.
guy? No, not Woj. Not Woj. I want to make sure I'm crediting the right people. Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking. Oh, Ian Rappaport is the one doing the reporting here. He's saying that it's day to day, nothing too serious based on what they're reporting right now. So hopefully Terry McLaurin will be good to go for week 1 for
Mhm.
the Commanders. And sticking with the Commanders and moving to quarterback news, they've named their QB1. Sam Howell
Sam
is the
Howell.
guy. He looked good in the preseason game against the Ravens. The Washington
Yeah.
Commanders snapped the Ravens' 24-game preseason win streak,
Yeah,
beating them
which is
by a
also
single
crazy. One
point.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. Fun game actually. It was a fun like Monday Night Football preseason game. And so Howell looked good in the game. It makes sense why
Mhm.
they named him the starter. You know, we'll see if he can have a breakout year as a second-year player, first year as a starter.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen on X, but there is dudes like Eric Bieniemy might be the guy at the OC, and that's the only reason Patty Mahomes was balling. And I thought that was a wild statement, but Sam Howell is looking really good, making some tough throws, and
Hey,
you could only hope that's a start to where it all began. You know?
you know what's funny? Why are we always trying to give the credit to like one person? Like there's like a team that's good, and
True.
we're like, all right,
Yeah.
let's give
Patty
all the
Mahomes.
credit. Yeah, let's give all the credit to this guy. It's all Bieniemy, all
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or like the Brady Belichick thing. Oh, it's all
Yeah.
Brady. Of course, it was all Brady Belichick.
Yeah.
It's like, can we not? These are we're talking about teams here, all right? So
True.
yes, there are slices of the pie that everyone contributes to. Why do we have to rush to give all of the credit to one guy? Anyway, that's my rant over for the day.
Yeah, it's a solid point though. I could agree with. Let's see, what else do I got? Oh, more QB starters. Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay, named the starter with Trask being the number 2.
Yeah, you know,
Wow.
we'll see if Baker gets one more shot at it. Maybe let's see if he can get it done.
Hey, I
Um,
mean, worst case scenario, my guy goes 500, or I guess he can't go 500 anymore. 8-9, and we are what he thought he was.
Worst case scenario, they're like the worst team in the league. What are you
Well,
talking about?
true, but I mean, like, for him, I mean, you never know.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Maybe by
yeah.
that point in time, we said
I
he's just an
mean,
average QB in
he
the league,
has he has
middle of the
nothing to
pack.
lose,
Yeah,
and Baker playing with nothing to lose is probably the best version of Baker. So you never know. Maybe we'll get
the
the best
the
version of
Rams
Baker
Broncos
Mayfield.
game of him, or
Mhm. Mhm. When he just plays free, nothing to lose, that's the best version of Baker Mayfield. So hopefully we get to see that for him this year. I'm rooting for that guy. Um, I think that's really it for preseason news. We kind of touched on most of the latest things. We did miss one thing last week. John Johnson III back with the Rams, the guy we talked about could be a kind of a pivotal free agent, and
Mhm.
he finally did sign a deal while we were on our little 2-week hiatus. We missed it last week. Um, I think that's a big signing for the Rams. I think that gives them some, an adult in the room in the secondary. They didn't have a lot of that. They had a
Yeah,
lot of youth there. So it gives them a guy who's got a lot of experience, knows McVay, knows that locker room and that space. So I think that's a big time get for the Rams. And we'll hope that it
it pays
makes them
off. That
better.
veteran presence is always nice, no matter where it is. Like,
Yeah.
even when they brought in Weddle for the Super Bowl run, like, they didn't need him really, but I mean, he was there. Still doing something, you know?
Yeah. Speaking of veteran presence, brings us to Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
All right. And when I say veteran presence, the first thing that stood out on this week's episode, and by this week's we mean episode 2.
Episode
Of
2,
course, all of you, by the time you're listening to this, will likely seen episode 3, and you're going, why have they not covered episode 3? Well, boys and girls, we're recording right now at the time that episode 3 is currently
pretty
airing.
much premiering, yeah.
So that's why we'll cover episode 3 next week. Stick around with us. We promise things to get better. But episode 2, the thing that stood out the most to me, at least early on in the episode, Aaron Rodgers feels like the pseudo OC of that offense.
Yeah. Yeah.
He makes so many comments of like, when are
man.
we going to figure out that play doesn't work?
Yeah.
Don't call that play from that
work
formation.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, all right. So him and Hackett, I just think it's funny, like the relationship they have. I mean, the other thing that stood out, sticking on the topic of Rodgers, the whole segment about the ball fakes.
Oh yeah.
Where
Yeah. I had the
QB's in the room, and it's like, okay, which one's the pass, which one's the run? And it's funny because the first couple,
Zach Wilson is gone, or he misses instantly. He's like, oh man.
Well, like early on, the first couple, they're right, they're getting it, they're getting him, and then there's one, Tim Boyle, he goes, he left it short, and that's the one that's the fake, that's the one that's the pass, and then it turns out it's opposite, and that was the run, and then Rodgers just is over there eating it up. Left it short, huh? Left it short. Yeah. You could just tell, like, I thought I saw a little bit of Rodgers' personality there, like how competitive and like petty he is. Like he takes everything. It very much so matched kind of what we've seen from Rodgers in the media, I think, over the years. And so I just thought that was a funny tidbit. What else did you see, Joe?
Yeah, I thought you were going to bring up Rodgers. So what I wrote down, just to put it like very simply, was he doesn't like people who go against their word. So when they're playing or practicing with the Panthers, I don't know why I keep saying Rams, practicing against the Panthers, some dude on that team was on his Packers staff. He was like, "Hey man, looking a little big here. Like I thought we said 260, And he was like, "Oh, like it's tough, man." He's like, "We're 5 pounds over or something, right?" And then one of the dudes on the Panthers team is like, "Bro, he's been eating Pop-Tarts." Like he's like, "Really, man? That's what we're doing these days?" And it's like, bro, like give the guy some slack. Like he's not even your coach right now, but you've known him for years. You're just railing on him,
Hilarious. Or another Rodgers moment when the tight end runs the wrong route in the game, it still catches a touchdown.
Like, and the ball, but runs the wrong route, huh? He's like, "Hey, good job there, Ron. Way to
tell the tight ends coach, "Hey, good job. That's good coaching right there." And you can see the tight ends coach is like, "Dude, come on."
And then he goes up to Zuma and he's like, "Hey, run the wrong route, but you get the ball, huh?"
He made the same joke to like 4 different people. When you feel a joke is really good when you're like, all right, I got to tell this guy. Let me find this guy and tell him too. Yeah, I thought that whole thing was, Rodgers. Just any of the stuff with Rodgers is pretty interesting because he's such the dexterity of the grass.
Bro, they were like, yeah, Rodgers even seems to know every blade of the grass, and he like goes, he got his little squat down to pick up some blades of grass. He gets a maybe nice little whiff, fresh cut, rubs it in his hands, he says, so he could get more grip on the ball, and you gotta let it fly.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. That feels like a thing he does because he thinks it looks cool, and then it became like a superstitious thing, and he just does it because it's like, look, I'm smarter than everyone else.
Get grounded with earth.
Bro. I use the grass. I use the grass to guide my way. That sounds like the dark room thing that he had. Remember when he was like, "I'm going in the dark room."
Flagpoles. See that the wind's going that way, but instead, I'd rather throw this grass into the air and watch it fly.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's a funny Rodgers thing that he just. That's just, that's part of the deal. Now, at the same time, he's really good. That's the other part that you see in practice. Like, this guy's really good still. I mean, he is still one of the better quarterbacks alive. A couple other things that stood out to me. Just Quinnen Williams. Like, what an awesome teammate. Like, I feel like I would love going to practice seeing that guy every day. Just, he's like, I swear on me, I had 11 sacks today.
He's like, "Hey man, I got about 10 right now." And
I
then
got 10 right now on
he's
me.
talking to Rodgers. He's mic'd up, and he's like, he's like, "Let him know." He points to the cameraman, like, "Tell him you just told him." And then he gets one more, and he's like, "There's 11." And he throws up the two
The
single
11.
fingers. Yeah.
Hey, it was really funny too when their defense coordinator before the Panthers joint practice is telling them like, Quinnen, sometimes you got to go and lift up your leg, pee on someone else's lawn, and then he starts going and he's like, pee on the kids' toys. And he's like, no, not the kids, coach, not the kids. It's just such a nice guy. Like I just feel like Quinnen is the cue ball, dude. That's his nickname.
What about when
cue
he
ball.
was mic'd up? He was cue ball. He was like, shout out my mom. Oh yeah, shout out my sister. Shout out Optimus Prime. I like him too.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I just feel like those are the kind of guys you need in the locker room who are just always happy and excited to be there. That help the guys who are like dragging on certain days to be like,
makes
okay,
everything lighthearted. Like,
yeah,
we can get through it today.
yeah. The more you look at him, I thought it was really funny. There's that little moment with Woody Johnson and Saleh too, where it's like,
is that the owner dude?
The owner, where he's like, yeah, we
paid
that guy a lot of money.
Yeah,
And
he was
Saleh's like, no,
he's
the right one.
Like, whoa, bro, like you don't know the guy's name? He's like, you just gave him a bag.
Yeah, I thought it was funny though that Saleh's like, no, like that's the guy. Like I'm glad we paid him. And the more you get to see some of the behind the scenes and some of his personality, it makes sense. Not just on field production, like he's growing into a leadership role there. On a team that's pretty young, and he's young himself, but it's just pretty clear. Like he brings such a positive attitude to what they're doing. So you can tell that makes a lot of sense why they paid him.
Yeah, let's see. The last note I had that we haven't covered is Oz. I don't remember the dude's full name, but the like mentalist dude.
The mentalist?
Yeah.
that thing was
going
wild.
crazy. So he starts off with the guessing Michael Carter's jersey number is 10. Pretty wild. But as you keep going, it just gets crazier, right? So he has a dude, he's like looking through the book of mascots that haven't been in the NFL. Has Aaron Rodgers. He picks the card Aaron Rodgers was thinking of, and then the deck he's holding turns into the goldfish that the other dude was thinking about. Wild.
Yeah.
And then the puzzle piece, bro.
Yeah, his guy picking the Super Bowl, the teams and the score, and he had it on the back.
Bro. That was crazy. Wild. Well, I think the puzzle piece alone was crazy. And then he adds in the who you guys beating this year? What's the score? And then he flips the thing and it's like,
yeah, that was impressive. That was
and
impressive.
Then you get a random comment. What if he chose a giraffe?
Yeah, that was funny. The only other thing I had, Will McDonald is a character and a half, and I was kind of watching him wondering, like, did I get my pre-draft process? Did I get it wrong when I was grading his film? Like, he might be better than I thought he was gonna be. So maybe the Jets got a steal in that one because they drafted him kind of high for what I thought he was, and he might end up being better than I thought.
Yeah, that's sure.
The other thing, Saleh, not afraid to just call out the offense.
Yeah, he was like,
especially the O-line specifically.
Yeah.
Very interested to see how that works in episode 3 and how those guys respond. Also, we should get Dalvin Cook added into episode 3. So those are things I'm looking forward to.
That is true. Yeah, he's in the building now.
In the building.
Let's see how that shakes up the running back depth chart because we seen Michael Carter from the preseason game they were playing. So who knows?
No doubt. But now to the moment you've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please. All right, we are officially in prediction season. Today is August 22nd, which means we are only 2.5 weeks out. Not even 2.5. It's almost about 2 weeks out from week 1. So we're close. Chiefs Lions. Yep. I believe that is September 7th. So we are not that far away. I had something like 18 days, 16 days, something like that. So we're getting close. And what that means is we got to start making predictions. Next week, we will be doing all of our, division winners. We kind of previewed that with our divisional primers all summer. But we'll do our division winners, teams that make the playoffs. We'll do our playoff picks. Obviously, pick a Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl matchup, the whole nine. Today, we're going to simply pick award winners. All right.
Yes,
and
sir.
so those NFL awards are, in case you're unfamiliar with them for some reason or don't remember them, the MVP, otherwise known as the Best Quarterback Award, the Offensive Player of the Year Award, the Defensive Player of the Year Award, the Rookie of the Year on offense, Rookie Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie Defensive Player of the Year, the Coach of the Year, the Comeback Player of the Year, and then the Executive of the Year. We'll go through each and every one of those, give you our picks plus the odds associated with the guys who may or may not win those awards, and kind of go through our rationale for why we're picking who we're picking. All right. Let's start with the big cabana. What do you think, Joe?
MVP.
MVP.
This might have to do with some Hard Knocks influence, but I'm going Aaron Rodgers, bro. It's simple.
Whoa, dude. Wow. Right out of the gate. All right, go ahead. Tell me more. I'd like to hear.
I mean, dude's got some solid weapons around him. He, first time on the team, switched over to the AFC, a bunch of things we could throw out there to make it just sound a lot better than it probably will be. But I mean, it's not like the dude hasn't had him before. I think, they're gonna have a great year. Probably as we go down the list, there might be more influence there, but yeah, the way I see it, Aaron Rodgers is gonna be balling. Nothing stopping him from taking this in my eyes.
All right. Well, I'll just go through the list real quick, give you like the top 10 and what their odds are.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes is most books is plus 600. He's the favorite. Joe Burrow, most is plus 700. Josh Allen, he's kind of a little more all over the place. He ranges from plus 700 to plus 850, but he's generally in third. Justin Herbert in fourth.
Okay.
If you believe in the new OC, maybe new weapons, Quentin Johnston, he's ranges anywhere from plus 900 to plus 1200. Okay. Jalen Hurts, anywhere from plus 900 to plus 1200. Lamar Jackson, plus 1400 to plus 1600. Aaron Rodgers, mostly plus 1600. Some have listed him at plus 1500. Trevor Lawrence, anywhere from plus 1500 to plus 1800. And we'll give you one more here. Tua Tagovailoa, plus 1600 to plus 2200. Everyone else is pretty long shot. You got guys in the mix: Dak Prescott, Justin Fields, Deshaun Watson, Goff, Geno Smith, Derek Carr, Brock Purdy, Russell Wilson, Jordan Love, Kirk Cousins. All of these guys, I told you, it's the best quarterback award. Now, to get to my pick, obviously, looking at everything, you could easily say Patrick Mahomes. That's too chalky. Don't really like it. All right. Burrow and Allen, neither one of those guys have won an MVP. They feel like they're going to win one at some point. Maybe this is the year. Herbert and Jackson, I can look at those two and say, well, they've both been guys who have had great production, but not good enough in terms of playoffs. Wins and support and things like that, and especially in the playoffs. But both of them have new OCs that I think people are really excited about. And so those could be the case for those two. Rodgers, new environment. Hurts was the runner-up last year. Lawrence, could he take the year 3 jump and really elevate himself? Quite possibly. But looking at all these names and thinking about all these things, I think the guy I'm taking.
Tua?
No.
I know that's why you didn't mention him this whole time. You were going to take him.
No, I'm not doing it. I think the guy I honestly am going to take is Lamar Jackson.
Oh, okay.
He's won the award before, but that was his, younger self. He was a sensation at the time.
Yeah.
I think the narrative with Lamar has been a lot about, he can't throw the ball, XYZ, yada, yada, yada. And we're going to finally see in Todd Monken's offense that I think they're going to unleash him in a real way that he's never been unleashed before. And I'm a big believer in the Ravens this year. I think they're going to be really good. And they got Zay Flowers. They've got Odell Beckham Jr. Rashad Bateman is healthy. They've got Mark Andrews. J.K. Dobbins is healthy. That offense should be electric. And the guy who's going to be controlling the trigger is Lamar. Plus, his odds are a little bit longer than some of these other guys, and so it's a little more fun bet.
Yeah.
If you're talking about that side of it, or just in terms of like how likely it is to happen, he's a guy with 6th best odds, 7th best odds, depending on where you're looking at. So yeah, I'm gonna go Lamar Jackson.
I can respect that. I mean, I do want to bang for my guy Trevor Lawrence a little bit. I do think he's a similar guy. He's had his team within the past couple of years. New coach in that second year, but he made a good leap. I just we got to see him excel even more than he did. He had late success. Hopefully, it carries over. And Calvin Ridley on the team now. That's another dude who could light it up. But that's a story for down the road.
See. Definitely.
Next award we got is the Offensive Player of the Year. This branches out into more skill positions, thankfully enough. But who do you got going for this one?
All right, so we'll run down the odds one more time, or another time, I guess I should say. We got Jamar Chase as the leader, the front runner, plus 1,000. Justin Jefferson, plus 1,300. Christian McCaffrey, plus 1,600. Nick Chubb, plus 1,800. Tyreek Hill, plus 2,000. Lamar Jackson, plus 2,000. Justin Fields, plus 2,000. Cooper Kupp, plus 2,500. And Jalen Hurts, plus 2,500. Now, I really feel like they've generally tended to lean towards giving this award to non-quarterbacks as much as possible.
I'd hope.
That's not necessarily always the case. Obviously, like Herbert won the award in 2020, and so it's not out of the question for a quarterback to win it. But usually, it's kind of a younger quarterback who's like burst on the scene.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I see that guy there sitting there this year. So that means I'm looking at a skill player. Could Justin Jefferson win it back to back? I think it would be hard. His year last year was so good. And if he had the same year and someone else has like a great year, they're probably going to want to reward someone else because of the narrative. I don't know why Jamar Chase is the leader in the clubhouse on this. I could see a lot of different other guys maybe that I would have picked before him. Yeah. I think the guy that I'm leaning towards right now, if he's healthy, feels like he's going to tear up the league this year, and that's Christian McCaffrey in a full season of the Niners offense. 3rd best odds. I think he would be my favorite. Yeah. I mean, last year he had a game where he threw a touchdown, ran a touchdown, and caught a touchdown. That was just in a game, and that was after being in the Niners for like 3 or 4 weeks. So let's give him a full offseason, the Shanahan offense, full mastery of the whole thing, and let's see what he looks like in a year where he should be healthy. And in that offense,
well, especially I think, early on too, I think that man's gonna have a big workload. Just the whole QB situation. Don't know how much Brock could take on early, or if they're even rolling with him the first couple weeks. So, yeah, I think Christian McCaffrey was a no-brainer here. I did have Garrett Wilson written down. Pairing him with Roger. That's a little outlandish. The amount of times that Jets people cross my mind, but no, I did want to try, if we did agree on something, I did want to branch out to someone else. So a lot of these I have 2 written down just in case. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey makes perfect sense to me.
I'm not opposed to the Garrett Wilson as like a long shot idea, because him and Rodgers seem to have that kind of Rodgers Davante Adams chemistry. So that could be, if Rodgers is really good, Wilson could be the offensive player of the year. I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only thing holding them back is probably his guy Lazard being in town too, where they already had chemistry. I'm not saying Garrett Wilson and him don't have good chemistry, but you got more dudes that you're comfortable with. There's no need to just gearing on one guy consistently.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to the defensive player of the year. Joe, who do you like for this one?
I like TJ Watt. I mean, I tried to predict it a couple years back. My dude got hurt after like 2 weeks. Tough. He was balling within those first couple weeks. He was playing too, looking like he had a chance. I think that defense is here in general. The Steelers could blow some brains real quick. You know what I mean? So he's got to be a leader off the edge with doing all that. So I'm going with him.
Agreed. If you look at this award, the last 4 winners of the Defensive Player of the Year award have all been D linemen, essentially. So you've had guys Nick Bosa, TJ Watt, Chase Young, Nick Bosa again, Joey Bosa,
Una brothers.
Aaron Donald, Sheldon Richardson, Von Miller, Ndamukong Suh. All right.
Yeah.
The only guys who have been non-edge players who have won it since 2010, Luke Kuechly, Darius Leonard, and Marcus Peters with the Chiefs. So these are the only guys. Those are the only guys who have won. Oh, Marshawn Lattimore as well with the Saints. So these are the only guys who have won this award, having not been D linemen, essentially edge players, pass rushers. So when you look at the odds, the first few guys, it's Micah Parsons at plus 650, Myles Garrett at plus 700, TJ Watt plus 750, Nick Bosa at plus 1100, Sauce Gardner plus 1100, and Max Crosby plus 1200. Almost all those guys again are pass rushers. The only guy up there, yeah, I mean with Sauce. So, we look at this. I mean, this is maybe the only one where I kind of go chalky.
Yeah.
I think it'll be Parsons. I think he's going to have a monster year because they're going to actually put him on the edge more and finally just kind of say, okay, let's let this guy be an edge rusher. Let's stop trying to play him at Mike Backer. Like, let's just let him go be the best edge rusher in the league. And, yeah, I just think it's Parsons. I think that's the guy who wins this award this year. So I'm gonna go with Parsons, even though he's got the he's the heavy favorite for the most part.
I feel it though. It makes sense. Cowboys, man, they need something up top. So yeah, I agree. That's a solid.
Now we're moving on to the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now this award, unlike MVP, has not necessarily been dominated by quarterbacks. However, if there's a rookie quarterback who's pretty good, usually that's who gets it. But if there isn't one, the thing is with rookie quarterbacks, sometimes they just don't play enough games. Mm-hmm. So, obviously then that goes to like the best skill position player. So I'll give you the odds here. Bijan Robinson plus 250.
Yeah.
Real favorite.
Makes
Bryce
sense.
Young plus 450. Oh. Anthony Richardson plus 700. Jahmyr Gibbs plus 800. CJ Stroud plus 850. And Jackson Smith-Njigba plus 1,200. Maybe those odds will change after figuring out he's getting surgery today. However, he's only supposed to be out 3 to 4 weeks, so he may only miss a game, maybe 2.
You want to say it with me?
Yeah, I mean, I said that Micah was the only one I was going to go chalk on, so I may go somewhere different here.
Well, I got Bijan then. I'll say it.
Yeah.
I think it's a complete no-brainer. Just my dude's going to do it all for the Falcons. I mean, I'm not saying they don't have a team there, but my dude's great to run the ball, great catcher. I mean, he's going to be – they'll probably throw him out as a receiver at some point in time, go empty a lot. I don't know. Who knows? But I think my dude can kill it. Now, if he wanted like a little bit more of a long shot, I don't like the shot anymore after the news today, but I had Jackson Smith-Njigba written down as the other guy.
A guy who I'm just going to mention, not necessarily my pick, but again, if you're thinking long shot, you're thinking receiver. So like Addison out there in Minnesota. Justin Jefferson gets a lot of attention. Addison could just be freaking phenomenal. I mean, he looks good. He looked good in the preseason against the Seahawks the other day. He looked real good. So I would not be opposed to that one. I don't even know what his odds are. They don't even have him listed here. However,
Just so
the
far.
guy who I'm going with is Anthony Richardson, simply because I think the Shane Steichen offense is going to allow him to be himself. He's going to get to run and throw, and I think that he's going to have a good enough year and start enough games that the league is going to give him this award. That's kind of my guess right now. So I'm going with Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson. That's I mean, like I said, he didn't cross my mind, but his odds are pretty high. So they expect big things from him, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Will Anderson, plus 350. Jalen Carter, plus 550. Tyree Wilson, plus 600. Devin Witherspoon, plus 900. Christian Gonzalez, plus 1,000. Dude, I know where I'm going. I want to hear what you're doing.
Okay, so I figured. So my real answer, I kind of want to go Jalen Carter, but I have Will Anderson written down first, just for the simple fact of, you know, he's in the Texans defense. My dude, D'Amico Ryans is the defensive mind, right? But I think Jalen Carter will be able to eat up with Philly just simply from the fact that their whole D line is insane, you know. And I figured he has more of a route to make more plays up the middle, whether it's through the run game or getting some sacks here and there. But I would like to put my money on Anderson, but I think Carter will win.
Okay. By the way, in case any of you are wondering, Jordan Addison is plus 1,600 to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. So there's that. The guy I'm going with, he was my favorite corner in the draft. Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, that was
Stud.
my other guy I was thinking about. I was like,
Stud.
there's no way the corner is gonna, that's what crossed my mind.
I think he's perfect in the Bill Belichick defense. Everything out of camp has been that he's been everything expected and more. Every so often, there's that corner that comes around and is just right away good as a rookie. Last year was Sauce Gardner. A couple years ago was Pat Surtain. And those guys, I say every so often, I guess it's every year, because those guys have been back to back, and now Christian Gonzalez. So I'm saying Christian Gonzalez is that dude. I'm picking him at, with the plus 1,000 odds.
Yeah, I like that pick for sure. It crossed my mind. I'm not gonna lie, but I just figured it's got to be someone in the interior. At the corner position. That's all like subjective. Like I don't know. It's just weird. It's hard to grade those dudes in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely. NFL Comeback Player of the Year. Now there is, and probably for good reason, the heaviest favorite of any of these awards, and everyone can probably guess. Damar Hamlin is the favorite to win the award. I mean, the man, he's minus 300 to win it. I've never seen
free money.
I've never seen anyone be minus for an award like this, in a full season award. It makes a ton of sense. It's I mean, you figure he
laid it all on the line.
He literally nearly died for on the field for a bit, and now he's back playing football. It feels like if the guy just makes it through the whole season healthy, they're going to give him this award, let alone whatever he produces on the field. So that makes sense. It's a heavy favorite. This may be just one of those ones where, I don't know. I mean, it may not even be worth talking about the rest of the guys, but we will, because we're a professional podcast. Tua Tagovailoa plus 2,000. Russell Wilson plus 2,500.
But does that count? Like, what did he? I don't think he got hurt in the year, did he? Like, that's where I don't understand this award.
The award is given to the player who's overcome the most adversity after failing to play or play poorly the year prior.
Okay, maybe he does have some.
Lamar Jackson plus 2,000. I guess he was hurt for 5 games, so I guess Trey Lance plus 4,000. Cooper Kupp plus 3,000.
Okay.
Stafford plus 4,000. Mac Jones plus 8,000.
Gotcha.
Other than Damar Hamlin, Is there a name that stands out to you, Joey?
Yeah, I have 2 in mind, but neither of them were mentioned, which I kind of thought was crazy. So maybe they're just plus, that tens of thousands. So I have Calvin Ridley, missed the whole year, doesn't even get a
Plus
chance.
5,000.
Yeah, and then I had Von Miller as my other one.
Vaughn is way down this list. We'll find him. Plus 10,000.
Hey, I guessed it right, pretty much. I said tens of thousands. Yeah, I made it plural,
Yeah.
but he was
Uh,
literally 10. That's crazy.
I think my pick for the award at plus 4,000 is Stafford. I've been telling everyone all offseason that he's going to be the guy. Now, I mean, obviously, I think DeMar Hamlin may very
Yeah,
well
he
win
just
the award, but outside
automatic.
of DeMar Hamlin, if I was just picking someone
Oh,
else,
yeah,
I
yeah.
would go with Stafford because I think he's going to actually have a bounce back year. A lot of people talk about him retiring. He's not retiring, guys. He's going to be really good again this year.
Yeah, no, I think if I didn't have to go with one of the other 2 I've written down, I probably would have gone Cooper Kupp. Even though his injury is a little bit later in the year, like I said, I don't know how this award really works out besides being injured and then playing the next year.
Okay. I agree. It's kind of one of the more vaguely written awards. Can be given to almost anybody. So we're moving on to Coach of the Year odds. Dan Campbell plus 900, Matt Eberflus plus 1,000, Sean Payton plus 1,100, Arthur Smith plus 1,400, D'Amico Ryans plus 1,800, and Robert Saleh plus 1,800. Very, very interesting. So this is usually an award reserved for like the coach who surprises us the most, not necessarily the best coach.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I look at this, I don't necessarily know that any of the guys on this list really stand out outside of Sean Payton.
Okay.
Sean Payton makes sense. I mean, as bad as the Broncos were, if Sean Payton comes in there and takes them to the playoffs, it'd be really hard for him not to win this award, I think.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick someone not on this list, I think the guy who I'm slowly, if you notice, I'm slowly more and more thinking about these Colts and wondering if they're going to be better than I thought.
Yeah.
And or at least
they had an interim all last year too.
Yeah, I mean, they could make a little noise with Richardson. So I mean, Shane Steichen may be kind of the guy I'm looking at here. So that's a name to keep an eye on. I guess I'm gonna go with Sean Payton though at plus 1,100. That's the guy I'll hitch my wagon to.
There you go. Yeah, well, I don't even want to say it because I've had like 3 or 4 picks that were the first dude, but I have Dan Campbell written down. My other dude is Robert Saleh. I mean, like I said, if the Jets really do big things, like it only makes perfect sense. My dude couldn't get it done last year, and now he's gonna be even better, making the playoffs, have a nice little run possibly. But I think Dan Campbell. I mean, he was outside looking in last year, and if you get in and you win one, I think that's got some good legs on there too. Just the improvement he's done for Detroit is crazy. So I think that's why he's the favorite here for sure.
All right, and then the very last award we have to touch on here is Executive of the Year. It's one of the harder ones to predict because it could literally be anybody. It's basically based on how these seasons go. There's a lot of really good GMs who have never won this award. And the one who I wanted to shout out that I think has a very good shot at winning it because they had an incredible draft and they've had a couple incredible drafts in a row. And that is John Schneider, GM of the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been there since, pre hiring Pete Carroll. So he was the guy who built the Legion of Boom. He was the guy who drafted Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. I mean, he's the guy who traded Russell Wilson for 2 first-round picks years later. I mean, he's
Noah Fant.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing a really good job for a really long time and never gotten this recognition. And they just had another killer draft with Witherspoon and JSN in the 1st round. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say he finally gets this award this year. I don't even have odds for you, but I would go with John Snyder personally.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like a great pick to me. Like I said, I don't know many of them, so I was just gonna throw out John Lynch. Why not? You give it to
And
the
Lynch
Niners.
could be another one. I mean, the thing for him that's the deal is quarterback. It's always been the deal,
Yeah.
and what's kept him from being a guy who could win that award is the quarterback position. But I am with you. He's done a really good job outside of that position, him and Shanahan, at building that roster. But I mean, I think that's it. So we went through every award. We gave you odds. Everybody use that information as you will, and
For
we'll
real
be
though.
back next week with our picks for the playoffs, the Super Bowl, all that good stuff. But first, we got to get to the banger of the week to finish out today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we unloaded the clip last week a little bit, right? We went back to back, just throwing out millions of things, but we're back to one a week. We got to keep it back to our roots. So this weekend, I went with my mom and my niece and nephew to watch a movie. We went and saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Oh wow,
and it was
banger,
kind of
huh?
yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it. I liked the way they portrayed it on the screen. So like, it was kind of like a comic in a way, but it wasn't like too comic-y. It was like claymation mixed with like comic looking stuff. I don't know. It looked cool. And then I don't know if you've seen the like real life people one with Megan Fox in them, but like okay, so a little backstory. There's one with Megan Fox where the turtles are fighting like uh like animals that turned human, and in those there was like a warthog dude and a rhino, and in this one they're all homies because they had all become like mutant from whatever the like green stuff they like touched, right? So that was like interesting to see where it's like in a movie that came out like I don't know 10 years ago, they were enemies, but in this one they're all kicking it besides the one dude who's like a fly that runs all the mutants. So that was interesting to see that dynamic, and then the lingo the kids use is just comedy. Like they're like, "Oh, bro, like who's got Riz now?" Or like there was another part where they were just like he was just like, "Oh, yes, sirski." It was just comedy, just like them talking like young kids. Like they were literally teenagers, not necessarily like grown up calling themselves teenagers. And then their ultimate goal was to get to high school, which they do. But yeah, it was a good movie. I liked it. I'm
Spoiler
sure
alert.
my nephew liked it a lot. Yeah, I mean, if you're watching this and or listening to this, and you go and watch that movie, hey, I mean, you're probably not the crowd. You're probably a little older than me. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you're
love it.
going with
Love
some
it.
kids, so you know what to expect.
Enjoy yourself.
Exactly, exactly.
All right, man. That sounds good. We'll be back next week. I'll have a new banger of the week for you all.
Sure.
And until then, you can just listen to this banger from our guy. Take us out, Ray Ray.